get a lawyer you're comfortable with, and that you're happy with and you trust and comes well recommended. Um, don't sign anything without the lawyer's okay. The managers, man. And people in Nashville. I've got a singer right now who's got, signed a deal in Nashville with a manager who's just, you go to his website and you're like, oh my God, these people exist. I mean, it's like a bad dream, and the guy like collects clients of people who are gullible, and the agreement is awful. And he pressured her, you got to sign this week because I've got this deal coming. Whenever you get that kind of pressure from a manager, run, because 99% of the time it's phony. They just want your name on this thing. And once your name is on a management agreement, depending on the agreement, sometimes it's impossible to get out. I mean, the girl that I'm dealing with right now in Nashville, I mean, she signed this 5-year agreement last year. And I'm not, we're going to try to get her out of it and threaten and cajole, but it can be tough. So just be very careful, and especially with a management agreement, make sure you have an experienced lawyer looking at it. Management, you want to make sure the person has a decent track record, some kind of experience. I mean, yeah, there's something to having someone manage you who's never managed anyone before. They're going to want to, prove themselves. I mean, Brian Epstein had never managed a rock and roll band before he took on the Beatles. But that's the exception rather than the rule. I think you want to have somebody that is connected, who knows the business, who's got connections. You don't want a long management agreement. It doesn't have to be very long. What a manager does is pretty set in stone, and a 2 or 3 page agreement ought to be fine. If it's longer than that, he's either got a lawyer who's like ripping him off, or there's stuff in there that you just don't really want. Keep it short. Have a honeymoon period. Like after 6 months, either side can walk away. I mean, I think that's really important. Because a lot of times you sign with a manager and they don't do anything, and then there's nothing you can do, and they don't answer your phone calls, and you're stuck. Also, have escape hatches that if you're not making this much money, over a certain period of time, in a calendar year, if the manager has not scared up $50,000 worth of business for your band, you guys can walk. And that's just fair, and if a manager has any kind of confidence in himself, he'll, you might haggle over the length of time or the amount of money, but, a performance-based thing in the management contract is really important. Have a sunset clause, which means when this agreement is finished, the manager, if he's been managing you for a certain amount of time and the contract finishes, he gets a smaller percentage, for the first year. I mean, this recognizes the fact that, if you're generating money, this manager, even after, he's no longer your manager, had something to do with it. What you don't want is that he gets a percentage in perpetuity. I think Billy Joel had a contract like that where his manager got 20% for his entire career, even after he stopped managing him. And this guy got like filthy rich because Billy Joel canned him fairly early on and then kept getting these hits. And he had to pay this guy over and over again. Have a sunset clause where, you'll get 50% of whatever the percentage was for the first year, and then 25% for the second year, and then out. Something like that. That's important. And like I said before, don't sign under pressure. If the guy says he's got a deal pending and you got to sign today, just tell him to screw himself and go find another manager.